Here we are in Trieste. Trieste is a European city. No one dies from malaria in Trieste, although he who suffers from mental illness perishes. Mario Mai, world president of the Psychiatrist, states that all mental disturbances are diagnosable and curable. But in Trieste, mental disorders is punished by the loss of human rights, beginning with the right to prevention, hearing, and assistance, like all other citizens. The mental sufferer is condemned to chronicity, or to jail, or death. Italy is used to psychiatric horrors. A flawed law of over 30 years ago has permitted pseudo-psychiatrists to throw sick persons into the streets in order to sell their inalienable property that should have been allocated to healing and assistance. A massacre of 30,000 persons deprived of every right, including the right to life itself, but is totally concealed. In Italy, regarding mental health, the mortality rate is 6 times higher than the European average. It's astounding. It boils down to genocide. The psychiatrists kidnap and intern the sick, but also sane persons as well, and force them to undergo drug therapy and threats if they even dare to protest. The abuses are so severe that very often the victims are not believed. Only once are they mentioned in a newspaper article of January 2009, but politicians and newspapers in Trieste responded with a campaign of lies and public lynching of the victims. A youngster is suffering because of a summer heat wave. His father accompanies him to the mental health center to seek help. The psychiatrist tries to persuade the father, if the son is aggressive, to report him to the police and telling him in this manner it will be finished forever. Trieste, like the Cambodia Pol Pot, another youngster with the same problem caused by the excessive heat is deliberately brought to a desperate condition in order to persecute him by jackals who have considerable standing in the hierarchy of governing bodies and institutions. This youngster has been fiercely and cynically crucified. The final objective, to confiscate his possession. Both youngsters have lost their lives. The prescriptions in both cases have been signed by the director of the Department of Mental Health, no less, Giuseppe Dell'Acqua. The pathetic social services, with the collusion of the psychiatry, encourage the kidnapping of boys or children, even of the newborn, destroy the families. The judges sign the papers without seeing the children and parents, not even in photographs. In the city of Trieste alone, the minors seized from families comprise half of the national total of Italy. Half. What eventually happens to all these youngsters taken from their families? The seized children cost the taxpayers from 200 up to 500 euros per day. But for the families, there is absolutely no possibility whatsoever to even pay a ransom fee in order to recover their loved ones. Is this Europe? But it is not enough. An overseeing judge, in collusion with psychiatrists, points out that with a population of less than 200,000 inhabitants, it may be possible that 25,000 persons can be practically deprived of their basic human rights. That is 13% of the population. Projecting to the national level involves around 7 million people. What is this? Delirium or something else? Why does Trieste have these frightful numbers? There is only one answer. From 40 years in Trieste, there has been entrenched the Basaglia lobby, irreversibly and with impunity degenerated. The legendary reputation of the psychiatry of Trieste is the result of 40 years of falsifications, of political propaganda. The logistic organizations that they exhibit serves to control, like in a mafia manner, the area of the people. The psychiatrists here have no interest at all to heal or to rehabilitate the patients. In Trieste, persons are valued only by how they can be reduced to beasts, dehumanized, in order to be eligible for financial aid, investments, to create jobs in institutions, cooperatives, to govern money, people, votes, that is power. The degenerate psychiatry explains why Trieste holds the sad record of suicides. The local and national authorities are disinterested and will never do anything. In the meantime, the supreme head of the Basaglia lobby, Franco Rotelli, came publicly and with impunity declared, "We have lost 30 years. We have lost 30 years? How many youngsters have been murdered or reduced to chronicity in 30 years? I denounce to the World Health Organization, to the Human Rights Committee, to the European Court of Human Rights, to the European Court of Justice, also to the European Commission, President Barroso, the violation of human rights and flagrant criminal acts that have been committed for more than 30 years by the public psychiatry in Italy. In the name of the associations I represent as first president, I ask the World Health Organization and all international health and justice institutions, currently by the principles which fostered them, to answer this plea and to intervene by every useful means in order to shape a health care system that is human and civilized. First of all in Trieste, where the gangrene of political psychiatry is widespread and prevalent.
O Conselho Deliberativo seriam os presentes. Seria a senhora Edna, o senhor Roberto, Antônio, o senhor Nelson, Marival, Mário Comuzzi, Maria Tereza, Fernando Portela, Eduardo, sou eu, Clara, Inês, Cássio.
Primeiro, a Declaração dos Direitos Humanos nesse mesmo dia. E segundo, também, que o primeiro presidente da Associação Mundial de Familiares e Amigos e Doentes Mentais está vindo de Trieste.
Posse do Dr. Mário, presidente da Associação Mundial, e aos demais membros considerem que tomando posse, quando eu passo para o Dr. Mário. Dr. Mário, a palavra é sua.
Os doentes mentais são pessoas humanas, com os mesmos direitos humanos, como uma assistência médica profissional especializada, que é um direito de todos. Quem nega a esses direitos humanos deve ser processado nos tribunais nacionais e internacionais e denunciado às instituições internacionais de saúde.